I got it. Okay, what I was saying was to everyone in Zoom, I'm sorry, my computer needed to be restarted. It was acting really weird. I couldn't do anything, so I had to restart everything. Then while it was restarting, I had a phone call, so I did that. And then it was time to come live, so I just live, and so now I'm live. And then I came on and I said, where's this live? And I said, hello, Al. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Margot. Hello, Debbie L. And then, hello, Sherry. Hello, Heart Made Wise. Hi, everybody. So we're going to talk about some things that happened today. We had Murdaugh's trial. Excuse me. Not trial. Murdaugh's hearing on getting a new trial. And you're still saying muted, but I know that I'm not muted anymore. And so that was like tremendous highs, lows, highs, lows, lows. Oh, he's going to get a new trial. No, he's not. No, yes, he is. He might. No, no, he is. I think she's going to give it to him. No, she's not. No, no, denied. That's how you could sum up. He was so smug. Even when it was denied, he was still had this smug look he couldn't get off his face. And then he had the his hands out, you know, like he's so into that whole thing, right? Okay, sound is good. Got it. Oh, and those of you telling me, some of you have been telling me that I might have pleurisy, I might have this, I might have that. No, this was an injury to my rib, and it's much, much better. It's much, much better. My hair is a freak out today, but my rib is much, much better. I'm not even on the leave. I'm not even living on the leave. I didn't even take a leave in 24 hours, no leave. And much, much better. I think I'll be able to go on the spin bike tomorrow, so that'll be good. Okay. So the judge got upset. The jurors were on their phones on court TV during an intermission, so she was really upset about that. Plus, brought the jurors in, asked them questions. Then they had Becky Hill on. Becky Hill had inconsistencies, and they had another court clerk on after her. And it was supposed to be 3 days. Arputlan was saying, well, why are we rushing this? I thought we set aside 3 days. I want to bring in other witnesses. I want to be able to cross-examine. I want to be able to do this. No, you don't need to, okay? Sit down. And literally, this was done in a day. After the Jim made his little closing argument there, she closed the arguments. She said, I will be back at 5 of the hour with my decision. And she was. And it was denied. So that was it. He went back. They've got other appeals to make, you know. Hi, Farm Wife. Hi, Liz Tops. But let's see if... I've missed any, where's my thingies? Oh, here they are. Okay, so, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Do you want to call the dogs in from around there?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay. Dogs are playing in the snow. We've had snow all, we had a 2-hour delay on school, a 2-hour delay. But that was all. So here's, here he is in all of his glory, that I was hoping that he was going to get a new trial. Kind of thought he was, but didn't work out that way. So the judge denied, after a day-long evidentiary hearing that centered on allegations that the court clerk had tampered with the jury and tainted the verdict. Now, they went over, did you drive, they asked Becky Hill, did you drive a juror home? Oh, you didn't? Oh, really? You really didn't? You didn't tell them, that the Murdaugh family was criminal? And then she kept saying, oh, well, I was using, creative license in my novel. Come on. In her book, her true crime book. And they said, how much did you make? She said about $100,000, but it's really not a lot of money. And then she had to split it with her co-author. They talked about her plagiarism and stuff like that. And the judge, Jean Toll, made her ruling after hearing from the jurors, all 12. She said that Murdaugh had to show that the clerk had made an improper comment and that it influenced the jury. And she said that Becky Hill, is not completely credible as a witness, and she was lured, and I quote, by the siren call of celebrity, but that the jurors were not persuaded by her actions. And I quote, the judge said, I simply do not believe that our South Carolina Supreme Court requires a new trial in a very lengthy trial on the strength of some fleeting and foolish comments by a publicity-seeking clerk of court. End quote. When Becky Hill said on the stand, and I quote, I did not have a conversation with any juror about any topic related to this case. She was questioned about her literary license. Yeah, that's when Harpootlian asked that, did she say something that, I think it was along the lines of that Harpootlian neutered Jim. And she was like, well, I don't remember. She skirted around that one, or if I did say that, it was literary license. Yeah. Now, her book is no longer being sold after it was revealed last month that there was a plagiarized passage in it from a BBC News article. Jim Griffin, that's the one that was accused of being neutered. They had a little press conference outside, and he said that after the judge's ruling, they're going to appeal the decision, and I quote Jim Griffin saying, we feel vindicated on the facts. There's an innocent man here who was wrongly convicted. And let's see here. And then about the judge questioning Becky Hill's trustworthiness, he said, we didn't expect her to say that. So they think that's, feather in their cap there about that. Now there's the one juror, it was Juror Z, initially said in an affidavit in August that Becky Hill told the jury before Alex Murdaugh testified not to be fooled by Alex Murdaugh. And they said they understood that to mean that Alex Murdaugh would lie when he testified. And that same juror also said that Becky Hill instructed the jury to watch Murdaugh closely and engaged in other behavior that they found questionable. I quote them saying, I had questions about Mr. Murdaugh's guilt, but voted guilty because I felt pressured by other jurors. But in her testimony during the evidentiary hearing, Juror Z, the first among the jurors to testify, responded yes when Judge Toll asked whether Hill influenced her verdict. And I quote, said, "To me, it felt like she made it seem like he was already guilty." And said that it did affect her finding of guilt. The difference between her testimony and the affidavit led the judge to call Juror Z back to the witness stand, and the judge went through each statement in the affidavit and asked the juror if she stood by her words, and the juror agreed that she did. That inconsistency took a back seat in the proceedings when the bailiff informed Judge Toll that some of the jurors had access to their cell phones, in a back room, and had watched Juror Z's testimony on their phones via Court TV live feed. The judge previously decided that the jurors should not be allowed to discuss the case while they waited to testify, and this breach led the judge to ask the other jurors during their testimony whether, if they had watched Juror Z, and if so, whether it would influence their responses. None said it would. Only one of the jurors corroborated a claim made by Juror Z that Becky Hill said during the trial to watch his body language in reference to Alex Murdaugh. In closing arguments, Creighton Waters, the chief prosecutor, highlighted that 11 of 12 jurors testified not feeling pressured by Becky Hill because it was the product of honest deliberation, and said that Juror Z said she was influenced by the other jurors before giving inconsistent testimony. The other 11 jurors were credible and strong and clear, with your honor. Creighton Waters. Jim Griffin argued that Becky Hill is not a credible witness after she had extraneous contact with jurors, and at least one said it influenced her verdict. And I quote Jim Griffin saying, "Ms. Hill is not credible. She's talking about her book and taking a literary license to lie. Her testimony should not be credited." But it was all denied. He went back. He's in prison. I don't know if it was Tater Tot Day or what it was over there. It's denied. They have the stamp out, denied, denied, denied. And that judge is 80. And she said something interesting. She said something like, in her 20-year career as a lawyer and her 35 years as a Supreme Court justice. And I'm like, what? I don't know. I'm going to take a look into her life. It sounds pretty interesting. 80 years old. And she is just about 5 feet tall. But 80 years old, still going, But what? No, the judge. You got to give her credit. Still going. And, but Murdaugh's back. And that's it. That's it. Okay, I want to just pop real fast onto just a little something before we go on to the next. Before we go on to the next one, all right? I want to talk about something about those Kansas City Chief fans that froze to death in the back of that house because one of their girlfriends is speaking out. So I'm just want to just go to that real fast. Let me just change the graphic up there. Okay. Let's put that up there. Come on. There we go. Okay. And okay, so the longtime girlfriend of one of the three friends who were found dead in that backyard of a friend that they went to his house to watch the game, even though there's so many different stories, whether they were at the game, they were watching the game, it was crazy. Lori Cruz, her boyfriend is 17 years, 37-year-old David Harrington, who was found frozen in the backyard of Jordan Willis's Kansas City home, along with his two high school friends, Ricky Johnson, 38, and Clayton McGeaney, 36. She says David was murdered. She spoke with News Nation's Chris Cuomo, and she said that her boyfriend's death was not an accident, and said, and I quote, "Those three guys were murdered," end quote. I quote her again. "I do not know if Jordan gave them something like they're talking about. David wasn't a drug addict like they're talking about. David didn't do stuff like that. Maybe they did take something because they were drinking, but I know David wouldn't have took it," end quote. Okay, and Jordan Willis's attorney, John Paserno, said that Jordan works from home, slept much of the time period between allegedly escorting his friends out of his house after the Chiefs game on January 7th and the police knocking at his door at 8:51 p.m. on January 9th after finding the bodies on his property. Despite large windows overlooking his backyard, he did not notice his friends in the snow. I thought they didn't have their jackets either, so that would be weird to escort them and they don't have their jackets on either, right? McGeaney's fiance contacted police on January 9th after finding one of the bodies on Willis's back porch. She had broken onto the property in desperation after text messages and calls were not returned and her knocks at the door went unanswered. Cruz, the other fiance, said it does not make any sense to have three men laying in the yard and Jordan asleep for 48 hours. And I quote her again, saying, "I have heard of Jordan before. I've never met him. I've heard a lot of terrible things about him. I don't know the truth in it. David's never had a conversation about Jordan. I've heard the name Jordan when he's talking to his friends. I don't think I've ever heard any stories about Jordan at all." She told Chris Cuomo that Willis was, and I quote, "on drugs," but didn't elaborate further. Harrington's mother, Jennifer Marquez, also said her son was not a drug addict, spoke out against assertions that intentional drug use may have played a role in his death, and she, and I'm going to quote, told Chris Cuomo, "I believed Jordan does know, and I'm asking Jordan to please come forward and tell the truth because he does know what happened that night. He's the only one that can give all of our families some peace." She said, and I quote, "Although her son smoked cigarettes and drank beers with friends," she said she does not believe he overdosed. And said Jordan was going to have everything to do with what we find out about his death. She said, and I quote, "Yes, I believe that something happened that night and that Jordan had something to do with it. We all believe that Jordan had something to do with it." And Harrington's father said that after he spoke to the Platte County Prosecutor's Office, he believes they're going to treat this as a drug overdose and go on with their business. The Frontier Forensics Midwest, a private company that was contracted to carry out the autopsy, said that the result of the men's toxicology reports will take 6 to 8 weeks to process, while the full autopsy reports would not be released for another 10 to 12 weeks. I think they might just be saying that, so, but I think they're going to come out before that. I do think they will come out before that. Okay, now back on to Troconis, where we have the third juror dismissed. This time they had to leave the country on a family emergency, and so they've lost their third juror. And as for the day in the courtroom, it was mostly the defense attorney going over and over Michelle Troconis' interviews, saying that, hold on, let me get Michelle up here. So that we know what we're talking about, right? The defense attorney said, didn't Michelle say she would come dig holes and she would hike through the woods with you guys, but she had to go back. She needed different shoes. She needed to get better shoes to hike in the woods, but she would gladly do it. Didn't she say that? Didn't she say that? You know. Didn't she? Didn't she? Yeah. Yep, right. I don't know, this trial is taking a long time, and to me, it's like, without a doubt, she's going to be convicted, without a doubt, and it just seems like so much time, and I understand that he's the defense attorney, and he has to, he's paid to do this, and he's paid to make these objections, and he's paid, but it's like, oh my gosh, she's so guilty, please, it's enough. So the juror had a family emergency. An alternate was drawn at random. Of course, Jennifer's body has never been found, but she has been declared deceased. And that was formally declared in October of 2023. The lead case officer, John Kimball, was on the stand today. He's a retired detective with the Connecticut State Police. And he said that Michelle Troconis continued during the interviews to say that she didn't know what FOTUS was doing the day that Jennifer disappeared, and that she didn't know anything about Jennifer's disappearance. And Kimball said, and I quote, "We believed, given the totality of their relationship, that she would know more than she was giving or providing us." Defense attorney Schoenhorn said that, "Didn't Michelle tell you she would dig holes and trek through the woods to help find Jennifer Dulos?" The law enforcement officers have pointed out that Michelle Troconis was inconsistent with her statements throughout 3 different interviews with police, and they say she omitted information from a timeline that she wrote. That information included a trip that she and Dulos made to Hartford, where they dumped, photos was dumping the license plates and the bags of stuff, and then a trip to the Starbucks there, where she remember that terrible sandwich, but then couldn't recall whether it was a ham and cheese or a turkey and cheese, all that, but it should have been a chocolate croissant, but they didn't have it. It was so terrible. She threw it out, didn't know what it was, though. That reminds me of Jodi Arias mentioned that Starbucks, and they're like, how do you remember what drink you got? And she was on a beach, because I get the same one every time. Outside of the courtroom, her attorney reasserted that he believes Michelle Troconis is not guilty. Well, you might be the only one that does, besides her family. So yeah, I don't know what when the prosecution's going to rest, or it's a lot of trials. It's like you had murder going on, you got this one going on, you've got Crumbly going on, and it's just. So let me just take a look at some of the updates on Crumbly, because I have not been able to catch up on Crumbly yet. There's only, it's like feast or famine with these trials, right? There's no trials, then boom, hit them all at once. Okay. Okay, so let's see what happened today. I know Kevin was saying that she was like waking out or something. So let's see. What happened today? Not too much here. Cuckoo. On the third day of testimony, after the jury was seated last week, emotions have run high in the courtroom. Judge Cheryl Matthews, as the prosecutors had shown multiple messages where Crumbly's son texted her about hallucinating and seeing demons while she and her husband were riding their horses, and video of the parents going into the Oxford High School on November 30th of 2021 to discuss a troubling drawing their son made just hours before the shooting. Let's see. Okay, so they showed the video of the Crumblies talking with investigators from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office after the shooting. James Crumbly asked for water and said he was freaking out. And an emotional Jennifer Crumbly could be heard saying he's never done anything bad. An investigator asked the parents what happened that morning as James Crumbly started telling about the meeting with the school counselors and his son doodling on a test or a practice test. Jennifer interrupted and asked if they should get a lawyer. "I think we probably should have a lawyer," she said. James told his wife, "I think we can speak to the cops." Sheriff's official told the parents that authorities needed to assess their son's state of mind, determine if he had made any explosive devices, whether he could have hidden guns anywhere, or if there were other victims. Jennifer described texting with her son, saying that she sent him a text at 12:21 asking if he was okay, and he told her he had just gotten back from lunch. She said she texted her son that he could talk to his parents, that they wouldn't judge, and that the son replied that he knew and added, "I love you." The parents talked about going to the school to meet with the counselor. The parents said school officials said he was welcome to stay at school, or they could have taken him home. Jennifer said, "And I really wish we," and her husband chimed in, "would have taken him home." I'm sure they do. At one point, the parents were taken into a room where their son was detained. As the parents were leaving, James Crumbley could be heard saying to his son repeatedly, "I love you." The school counselor at the Oxford High School, Sean Hopkins, met with Ethan and his parents on that morning of the shooting, was the second witness called to the stand to testify today. I have to catch up on all of this. This does sound like something I do want to say. He told the jurors that after students were allowed back in class amid the pandemic, the school saw a lot of depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, and unfortunately, attempts at taking their lives. This is important because Hopkins said the reason they let the shooter stay in school that morning, even though he made a violent illustration, is because they thought that he might take his life, and that he thought maybe the boy would be safer at school than home alone, as his parents were planning on going back to work. No, I don't think the father was working. He testified about numerous red flags that went up about the shooter in the months and days before the shooting. And let's see what those were. He said that the shooter first landed on his radar September 8th, 2021, when he got an email from his Spanish teacher. The Spanish teacher said, "Hi, Sean, could you please touch base with Ethan Crumbley?" In his autobiography poem, he said he feels terrible and that his family is a mistake. Unusual responses for sure. The counselor replied that he would follow up, but the teacher later gave him more context, so he never followed up. Well, did they clarify what that context was? Doesn't sound like it. 2 months later came another email from the Spanish teacher, again about the shooter. "Hi, Sean. Ethan is having a rough time right now. He might need to speak with you." The teacher wrote on November 10th. That was just 20 days before the shooting. Hopkins testified that he met with the boy and told him he was there for him. He did not contact the student's parents because being sad was common for kids. 19 days later came another warning, this time from an English teacher who said she spotted the shooter looking at bullets on his cell phone in class 1 day before the shooting. At 9:34 a.m., the English teacher emailed 3 school officials, including Hopkins. Now that he's on my radar, I'm also noticing that some of his previous work that he's completed from earlier in the year leans a bit towards the violent side, the English teacher emailed. The shooter was pulled from class, according to Hopkins, Ethan was explaining that he had gone to the shooting range with his mother over the weekend, that shooting is a shared hobby, and that's why he was looking at bullets. And Hopkins said they sent him back to class. The next encounter that Hopkins had was on the morning of the shooting. At 8:30 a.m., he read an email from a teacher sent about a half an hour before saying that today he is watching videos of a man gunning down people. My first reaction, Hopkins said, was, here we go again. Then came another email, this one at 9:32 a.m. The math teacher found a troubling drawing that the shooter had made on a worksheet. It showed a gun, a bleeding human, and the words, "The thoughts won't stop. Help me." He said he hoped the parents would take him home that day, and testified he did not want their son to be alone. He testified that he did not specifically ask them to take him home, but he did ask them to take him to get therapeutic help. Hopkins testified he told the parents he wanted their son to be seen that day if possible. He said it was made quite clear that it wasn't possible to do it that day because they had to return to work. Absent of a disciplinary reason to keep Ethan Crumbley from class, Hopkins said he allowed him to go back. He testified Jennifer Crumbley asked if they were done, and he responded, "I guess so." Hopkins wrote Ethan Crumbley a pass that he could go back to class and just let him know that I cared about him. Well, I can tell you right there, there's some big mistakes there. If they thought that he needed to be seen by someone for therapeutic help, there is something that they can do if they have a child in school that is in danger, that they think of hurting themselves or danger to others. They can demand that if the parent doesn't get them therapeutic help that day and show that, they can commit them to a mental health facility, and that's probably what they should have done. Instead of just saying like, oh yeah, you should really go get him some therapeutic help today. Oh no, we have to go back to work. Oh, okay, then he can stay in class. So there's a lot of responsibility there too, because there are a lot of things that were missed and a lot of things that could have been made mandatory. Okay, let's see. Hopkins testified that his follow-up plan was to meet with Ethan the next morning to see if there were any additional discussions at home about getting him help. If not, he testified he planned to call Children's Protective Services. Under questioning from Smith, Hopkins testified he did not contact Jennifer Crumbley after getting an email from a teacher in September about a poem her son wrote about feeling terrible and calling his family a mistake. Hopkins also said he did not contact Jennifer Crumbley after getting another email from a teacher earlier in November indicating that Ethan Crumbley was having a rough time and talking with him. And they then questioned Hopkins about the drawing and an altered version and asked if when Hopkins saw the gun drawn on the sheet, if it was not enough to make you believe that Mrs. Crumbley's son posed a risk to himself or other students. And he said, I wasn't sure whether he posed a risk to himself, and so that is why I called the parents. I was concerned, and I wouldn't call in parents unless I was concerned. And the first witness today was the owner of the barn where the Crumblies boarded their 2 horses. Her name is Kira Pennock. She said that Jennifer Crumbley spent $10,000 on 2 horses. She took horse riding lessons from Pennock about 3 times a week during the evenings and during the day on weekends. She said that the Crumbleys spoke frequently about their horses' health issues. They paid by check for her services. They spent $5,000 on each horse, and they sometimes drank alcohol at her barn. The defense attorney, Shannon Smith, made an objection to the testimony about drinking, saying it was irrelevant. The prosecutor, Karen McDonald, disagreed and said if you're buying a $5,000 horse and you're drinking, it is relevant regarding their priorities as parents. The prosecution argues that the Crumbleys paid more attention to their personal lives, their horses, etc., than they did their son. Now, the barn owner said that she met the Crumbleys' son only once, and that Jennifer mentioned him once in a while, calling him weird, and referred to him as an oopsie baby. Okay. There was not a lot of talk about her son, that horse barn owner said, and there was nothing truly positive. Now, defense attorney argued that oopsie baby comment is totally irrelevant. Then Pennock testified about the day of the shooting. She said that morning she learned that the Crumbley's horse, Billy, needed medication for mud fever and his legs were swollen. Jennifer Crumbley also had plans for a riding lesson that night, noting that Jennifer contacted her after a morning meeting at her son's school and told her that she would still be at her lesson and that her son was coming along. According to Pennock, Jennifer explained that her son was having a shite day at school, showed her a photo of a violent drawing her son had made on a math worksheet, and that was the drawing that prompted school officials to call the parents to the school. Pennock suggested maybe her son could use some horse therapy. He needs something, was the response that Jennifer put in a Facebook message chat. Pennock said, let's make him a cowboy. Pennock testified later that day that when she heard that there was a shooting at Oxford High School, she immediately thought it was Jennifer Crumbley's son. Why? Prosecutor asked. And she said, it's not normal for someone to draw these things at school. At 4:07, she messaged Jennifer, is everything okay? If you need anything, please let me know. And at 4:42, Jennifer texted her back, said, I need to sell my horses. Stat. Pennock said she offered to buy the horses. Jennifer told her that she paid $8,000 for each horse, but she wanted $8,000 for each one. Pennock said she became concerned that the Crumbleys might come to her barn and steal things. Defense objects. The prosecution was instructed to reword the question, and Pennock testified, I did not truly feel bad for Jennifer. I was upset that this had happened to all of the kids and families. Then a series of Facebook messages between Pennock and Jennifer were shown, during which Jennifer talked about needing $200,000 for a lawyer and that she needed to sell her house to get money. And she said, I'm bawling right now. My son ruined so many lives today. Pennock wrote back, I quote, I'm still in shock too. Take it one day at a time. I will take care of the boys. I guess she means the horses. And Jennifer said, okay, thanks for not judging, unlike the whole world. She wrote back, the horse barn owner said, I know you and James, and this doesn't even remotely make me think it's your fault. It sounds like Ethan was a troubled kid. It's unfortunate this happened. And another message from Jennifer said, I wish we had warning, something. He was a good kid that made bad decisions. Pennick wrote back, there probably were warnings, but nobody saw them. Hindsight is 20/20. Later, she told Jennifer not to come to her barn without a police escort, saying, I'm really sorry. I need to look after my business. And Jennifer texted back, seriously? Those horses are the only good things in my life right now. Pennick testified that at one point she changed her mind about letting Jennifer come to the barn alone and messaged her that it was okay to visit the horses. But Jennifer wrote back, we're out of the area, in a safe place. According to Pennick's testimony, she and Jennifer communicated about the sale of the horses and their well-being in the days after the shooting. She said that Jennifer messaged and made a point to say that her messages are probably being monitored. On December 3rd, Pennick suggested that they meet to discuss selling the horses for cash. Jennifer responded, maybe. They're announcing charges at 12. According to Pennick, she did not buy the horses, but they were signed over to her per the boarding contract. The Crumleys have been in jail for more than 2 years since those charges were announced. The cross-examination by defense attorney Shannon Smith, Pennick conceded she was also friends with Jennifer Crumbley, and it was not just a business associate. She also testified that she had bad cell service at her barn because it was in a remote area and that customers had difficulty making calls. So this is important because the Crumbleys have been accused of ignoring their son's text messages while they were out riding horses, and they're trying to say, hey, look, she has really bad service out there. It's not that they were ignoring. Smith then tried to impeach the witness, questioning her about prior testimony that was taken back in 2022 when she said, I have never gotten the feeling that Jennifer and James had those types of issues with their son. Smith asked Pennick why her current testimony is different, that she thought the Crumleys had issues with their son, but she couldn't explain the difference. Smith then asked Pennick why didn't she call the police after seeing the troubling drawing the shooter had made on the math sheet. And she said, and I quote, I would not have known that something like this would have happened. And then she said that's precisely what Smith has been arguing about her client, that she could not predict what happened. Not even after seeing that math paper, and that hindsight is 20/20. If you had a crystal ball, would you have called police and stopped a shooting? And then Pennick said, correct. She asked Pennick if she ever had any problems with Jennifer stealing from her, if she ever contacted police about such problems or concerns, and she said no. But she feared the Crumleys, with their given circumstances, may do things they hadn't done. After the jury was brought into the courtroom on Monday, the defense attorney, Shannon Smith, addressed the court saying that on Friday she made a comment that was offensive to victims and the victim's family while struggling with exhibits as she questioned a witness. Smith said she was going to take her own life. And she said, "I am apologizing for that comment. I truly did not mean to say that comment I made." And the judge said that she believed that. That's why they left the courtroom on Friday, because prosecutors expressed concern over defense counsel Smith's comment, and the prosecutor, Karen McDonald, said parents of teens that were killed in the shooting were in the courtroom, and she was simply asking to be respectful to victims. Again, Smith said she did not mean to offend the families, and the judge said on Friday she thought it was a slip of the tongue, emotions were running high, and that was why they were then just let go to leave. And that's what we've got on that. And let's see what we've got here now. Five-year-old Kentucky girl who was missing after her mother was found shot in the back of her head has been found safe. Good news amidst tragic news. So the 5-year-old girl was the center of an Amber Alert. There's no additional information available, except that the Amber Alert was issued following an incident where a man reportedly shot her mother in the back of the head and then subsequently abducted the daughter. The child's mother, Kelly Black, was shot in the back of the head inside her Princeton home that's in the western part of Kentucky. The suspect has reportedly been identified as Layla's biological father. The suspect was driving, allegedly, a 1996 Chevrolet Silverado with California license plates, but Layla's been found, and just all around now. Now, an artist that we told you about, the one that was doing pumpkins and stuff in New Hampshire, we've covered this before. There's some more information now that she was seen on surveillance footage, on a security camera, buying items at the Dollar General store before she went missing. So police in New Hampshire released security footage that showed the last time the Barnstead artist was seen. Ashley Turcotte has been missing for over 3 weeks, and she was last seen January 4th at a Dollar General in Barnstead. Police say she made purchases at the store between 9:18 a.m. and 10:44 a.m. There were no cameras outside the store. Police say the only images are inside the store. And I'll show you some of those images. And this looks vaguely familiar to that woman from Georgia. Remember, she was missing, and then she was found on that like on a ledge on the road, and she was partially undressed, and there was a fire, and there was like a tarp, and she was holding on to a tree. And remember, her last photos, she was buying stuff at a Dollar General. Or was it a Target? No, I think it was a Dollar General, wasn't it? Okay, so some people are saying this is absolutely terrifying. If you look close, there may have been some foul play. Her neck looks like it was bruised, and her nose looks like it was scraped up. Did she ask to use the bathroom? What did she buy? Someone said, I definitely agree with you. Someone said, camera shadows. Look closely. They differ, so it's most likely shadowing. Someone said, if she does portraits of dogs on Etsy, I wonder if she was meeting up with someone to give them their portrait of their dog, and that's why her car was at the town hall. Let's see. Someone said, does anyone notice how she walks into the store with her coat on, but in the third picture she does not have her coat on? That's not normal. Where is her coat suddenly? And someone said she made the purchases that day at different times. So, these were at different times. She came back. So could not have had the coat on for one of them. Let's see. Someone said, I feel like the second purchase must be with the coat on and hat. It looks like she may have walked from somewhere like the town hall. Oh, Ashley, where are you, girl? Someone said, for all those with timeline discrepancies, try this timeline to narrow your focus. Thursday, 9/18, she made a purchase from Dollar General. I'd say this is when she went in without a coat. In between meeting someone, just driving around, who knows, but unless there's phone activity, we won't. But at 10:37, her car is spotted on surveillance at the town hall. Maybe she pulled in to meet someone. At 10:44, she's seen making another purchase at Dollar General, and this time with the jacket on. I'm assuming she met someone that drove her from her car to the Dollar General. Friday at 6 p.m., her car is located at the town hall by a family member. She couldn't have walked from the town hall to the Dollar General in the 7 minutes. I'm making the assumption that she didn't run. She didn't look like she had been running, so she had a ride or someone took her car. Even if there was a street lined with convenience stores, I would run into the Dollar General for a drink or snack because they would be cheaper. Her going twice just meant she was nearby. I get the feeling that police are looking at her contacts to get from Town Hall to Dollar General, however she got there. That is the last person to see or speak to her, and they may have just dropped her off, not saying there is foul play, just that someone saw her, gave her a ride, and spoke to her. Huh. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. We got that. So anyway, we have a new member. Who's our new member? Who's our new member? It says we have a new member. Hi, Lasso. Hi, Rich. You have to renew. You will just be listening. Okay, Rich. We'll be your background. We'll be your background company while you fill out some paperwork. Who's our new member? Let me see. Leaves of 3, let them be. Leaves of 3. Okay, let me see here. What's up with this? What's up with that? I always forget how to do this. What the heck? Huh. I'd like to see the mini feed, please. I don't know why they had to change Streamlabs. They looked. John Dalton, thank you for subscribing. Maybe someone, I don't know, they must have done something to their membership. It says here in the analytics of this that someone just became a new member. So I don't know, maybe someone upgraded their membership or something. And for that, we thank you. Let me see something here. Oh, Debbie Brett renewed. I think Debbie Brett said something about a card. I think she sent me an email. Debbie Brett, thank you for your renewal. Wonderful. Good news. Okay, now let me go back and see what else we're going to look at today. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. All right, let me see here. Okay. I want to go and pull up something. Hang on. Oh, I know what I wanted to. Let me see if that's here. No, of course not. Okay, hang on. Let me see something here. Let me see something. Let me bookmark this really quick so I have this. And go to here. Okay. I want to look up something here that's a little bit different. Let me see if I can go back to this. Oh, I know. Not exactly what I'm looking for. Hi guys, I'm just looking for something. I want to look up something. Hold on one second. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Huh. Where the heck? That's not exactly what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find a certain thing here that I want. Okay, that is, keep that. Oh, okay, hang on a second. Okay, how many of you are familiar with Darlie Routier? I've gone over this case ages ago, but she's on death row in Texas. She's the one that well, she's charged with killing her 2 sons. The baby was left alone upstairs with the father. Kind of reminds me of another case. Gosh, remember that case we heard the 911 call? The mother, gosh, whatever happened to that mother? I think she did something similar to like 3 children and then called her mother over. Remember that one we covered? Remember that one? I'm trying to remember if that woman ever went on trial or whatever happened to her. There's so many cases now, I can't even remember her name. There's a lot of court testimony on this case. I don't know. I don't know why. I just feel like diving into some court documents. I don't know why. I just kind of feel like that right now. But I want to see kind of cases. I mean, there's always Scott Peterson, but we've done a lot of that. Let's see what else. Let's see. Another case. This one looks like, let me see. We have heard about Junko Furuta. Let's see about this. That's something Japanese English. I don't know if I want to go into that one. Let me see what else. How about okay, hang on.
Was taking place there.
And okay, let me see. I want to go and find no. Sorry guys, I was looking for something specific and it usually comes right up. Let me see if I can find this. I did cover everything that was in my thumbnail, but I wanted to look at something. Okay, let me see if I can get this. Please, please, please. Oh, good, good, good. I might have what I want right here. Okay, documents. Documents. Why are these links now? Oh, I want to see that. Please. I'm so sorry. Really? But I promise you, if I get what I want, it'll be. Why don't they have that there? Okay, well, let me just see. Try one other thing really quickly. Yeah, I'd like to put together certain database, court documents, and court transcripts. One second. I think I did find it. Okay. Okay, I want to go through the. This isn't very long, but it is, and I'll put it up there on the other side. Hang on, let me just go over here. Where did you just go there, you little silly? How did I just... Hold on a minute. Where the heck did it just go? Here it is. Okay, let me just do it like this. There we go. All right, let's see what this is like. Come on, get over there. Show ourselves with a little Casey Anthony, and I just don't know where my live chat is. There you go. Okay, so this is a tape transcript from an interview from October 14th of 2008 by Corporal William Eric Edwards, Special Agent Jeffrey Scott Bolin, Detective Dorothy Rivera, and Casey Anthony. So they say go. Eric Edwards says October 14th, 2008, approximately 4:05 p.m. Corporal Eric Edwards, Orange County Sheriff's Office homicide, in the vehicle with, and then Detective Dorothy Rivera, Special Agent Jeffrey Scott Bolin, and we are approaching a traffic stop where Casey Anthony is in custody right now by our felony unit, and we will be having her in the car momentarily. Hey, we're 10-4 inaudible. And then Eric Edwards says, all right, we'll be up there in a second. Dorothy Rivera says, can you please put that in the front cup holder or right here? And she coughs. Eric says, first I'm going. I would like to interview a witness to a reckless driving event that may have been orchestrated by someone. I think I'm going to question her in regards to that. Dorothy says it's coming up on the right here. And Jeffrey Scott Bolin, Special Agent, says it's on your right-hand side up there. I just saw them pulled over. Eric says deputies should not be ran off the road. Dorothy says there it is. Eric says, all right, northbound Turnpike approaching mile marker, don't have one yet. Dorothy says our call box 256. Eric says call box. Dorothy says you can put your lights on over there. There's a little switch. Okay, so they go up there. And then Dorothy says, are you going to sit in the car? JB says, Dorothy says, I have to. JB says, no, I'll just stay here. Dorothy says, okay, I'll be right back. JB says, you want to throw that in the trunk? Eric says, yes. JB says, I don't know where the trunk release is in this thing. Okay, let's get to where we get Casey Anthony. Okay, up here. Casey Anthony says, we've been literally stalked by media, and not just today, but the weeks. Eric says, sorry. She says, oh, it's okay. There's a bunch of inaudible stuff. Eric says, you know why you're in custody. You know what you're in custody for, right? Casey Anthony says, yes. They've called out the indictment. Eric says, you did get the call? She says, I talked to my attorney. They said, Mr. Baez? Casey Anthony says, yes. Eric says, my crazy driver. It's all inaudible. There's some laughing. German engineering is awesome. This is a good car, JB says. SB says, I'm talking about the BMW. Listen, you haven't met me before, but you've seen me, Eric says. Casey Anthony says, yeah. Eric says, you haven't met me. I did speak with your mother. Okay, Casey Anthony says. Eric says, your father and your brother, the situation here, I'm trying to find the right words for it. I'll tell you what got me a little bit out of mindset was just what happened on the road back there, so you'll have to give me a second. Let me get that bit of adrenaline out of my system. Do you have any adrenaline in your system from that? Casey Anthony says, a little bit. Eric says, I think your mom does. Casey Anthony says, especially when we realized you know who is behind us, that it was media. And so Eric says, what's that fellow's name that you were in the car with? Casey says, Robert. Eric says, what did he say when he realized it was the police? Casey said, I think his exact words were, oh, shite, it was the cops, okay. Laughs. And when was that? Casey Anthony says, it was right as, what part of our journey, Eric says. She says, right as you flashed the lights, we could tell before that. We couldn't tell before that. Eric says, and where was that? Here? Casey says. So he legitimately thought that it was, Casey Anthony says, yes, the press? Casey says, we all legitimately thought it was the press. So Eric says, and including Mr. Baez? Casey says, yes. Eric says, I'm sure, I just want to ask you a couple of questions about that. Casey says, okay. Eric says, and that's not right now. That's so Mr. Baez's intentions was to, if it was the press, was to keep the press inaudible. Casey says, yes. Eric says, so I'm pretty sure the state statute would apply in running press vans off the road either, but it just makes it worse when it's unmarked police cars. Casey says, oh, I completely agree with you. Eric sighs, this is where I'd like to be with you. Casey says, okay. Eric says, I myself have got the chance to unfortunately listen to, and I say unfortunately because I almost feel guilty that I catch myself watching the TV. Casey says, Eric says, as much as I do like the rest of everyone. Casey says, yeah, it's hard not to. Eric says, but in those few little excerpts, I've never really listened to the interviews that Yuri and John Allen have done and the opportunities they have had to talk with you. Casey says, Eric says, but I do know from listening to the little bit that I have that I'd like to talk to you in a different approach, and I'd like to talk to you about if, in your mind's eye, for me, you will take yourself to the end of that hallway at Universal Studios, because today, in this charging incident today, if you will, I think as far as everything goes, we're at the end of that hallway. Casey says, okay. Eric says, with that being said, I would ask for your help instead of all the other stuff that's been going on. Maybe step away from the glitter and the glamour and the pressure that's put on you and your family and law enforcement and Mr. Baez and help us. Casey says, okay. Eric says, by helping yourself. Okay, she says. Do you have any interest in helping us? Casey says, I have had interest in helping law enforcement from the beginning. Unfortunately, my hands were literally tied, and I was put into position when someone is trying to trick a confession out of me. Eric says, well, I don't want to. Casey says, and that, Eric says, now don't. Casey says, that's not going to happen. Eric says, we don't go there. I don't want to, you know that. You know, as far as how we have to do things, and I would want to do things above board and straightforward. I would want to read you your rights. Okay. And Mirandize you. Mr. Baez, I'm sure, has gone through that early with you, coached you on what to say, which is fine. That's his right. That's your right. But I, as a law enforcement officer, still am afforded the right to approach you as a suspect. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's one thing you'll never get with me, is a mind game. Casey says, I appreciate that. Eric says, if I reach your rights, and we take the time to do that, and have you've met, right? SB says, no. Eric says, have you two met? SB says, I've never met her. Casey, I'm Scott. Casey says, nice to meet you. Scott says, I work with the FBI. Casey says, okay. Scott says, okay. Eric says, okay. Take all that aggravation from prior contacts out of your mind. It's a different game. Casey says, Eric says, I'm a homicide corporal. FBI, not John Allen, not Yuri, not the aggravation from the family that they see those two as, and I'm not minimizing their professionalism or anything that they've done. Okay, Eric says, I just want to approach it in a different manner, and today with what was done today at the grand jury, regardless of accusations from everybody around. There have been people that have reviewed what it is so far. Casey, we're at the end of that hallway. Casey says to where extent, yes, Casey says. Well, Casey says, I understand that. Eric says, where we need you to determine what our next course of action is going to be. Okay, says Casey. Eric says, really, I'm not saying you're in control of the situation. You're in control of your situation. That being said, I'd like to read you your rights and talk to you. Is that something you'd be interested in? She says, I would like to do that on the basis of with my attorney, if that's possible. Eric says, you'd want him there? Casey says, yes. So if we went up to our office and your attorney was there, you would provide us additional information? Casey says, I can honestly say that. Eric says, don't go into no, she says, any information now. I'm not going because I haven't. Casey says, no, I can honestly say that whatever questions you ask, I will consider before I answer anything. I don't want to be obligated to answer at the moment. I feel that I do have the right, with invoking my right to counsel, that I should be able to speak with my attorney before I provide any sort of answer. And no, I have the right as a citizen, suspect or not. And you do. That's my constitutional right, she said, which I'm glad that. And Eric says, and do you feel that I've circumvented that at all? No, not at all, Casey says. Eric says, and because I haven't. Casey says, I know you haven't. Exactly. I was just going to say, Eric says, Casey says, this is the first time that I've been allowed to have that right throughout this. Eric says, it's a different, now you're in your opinion, it's that was to occur. Do you think Mr. Baez would entertain that coming down today? Casey says, definitely. Eric says, did he maybe even mention that maybe something we have said, she said, a possibility today? Casey says, from the very beginning, if law enforcement would like to speak with myself, he would like to be present. I would like to have my attorney present. But we've never shied away from that, not once. Scott says, if I were to tell you that I told Mr. Baez myself in the office that day, that was perfectly all right with me and he turned me down, would that surprise you? Casey says, it would to an extent. I think considering who else was with you that day, I think I remember a day that, Eric says, and that being who? I'm curious because I wasn't there. Casey says, John Allen, Nick Savage, and I think whoever else came with you that day. Says Scott. Casey says, that was in the office. I left when you guys came in and just spoke to my mom. Scott says, right. Casey says, so there's, Eric says, excuse me, and coughs. Casey says, there's a certain level of things. I mean, I've only heard certain things from certain people, as you can understand. Eric says, and that's, Casey says, we haven't had direct contact, and we haven't either. And I have an open mind when it comes to things. I like to keep an open mind because when it comes to things. But if I'm innocent, that's as far as that goes. And as far as anything else on top of that, Eric says, Casey says, I'll take this as far as I need to prove my innocence, which I guess is my point in all of this. JB says, when you say you'll take it as far as you need to prove your innocence, she says, Scott says, what do you mean? I mean, she says, serving the indictment today and the warrant for my arrest, everything else, I'm not running. Eric says, well, you have to, Casey says, I'm not going. Eric says, you have to excuse me for Yeah, Casey says. Eric says, misunderstanding what we just went through. They both laugh. Casey says, that wasn't us. Eric says, that? Casey says, running. That was us trying to counteract the media from following us down to the jail, because our only intention was to take me down to jail to surrender me before this happened. That was the only thing we were trying to accomplish. You can ask Mr. Baez. You can ask my mom. You can ask anyone from the office, even my bondsman, who was the driver. Eric says, I have. Casey says, that was our only intention today. Eric says, okay. Eric says, well, what I'll entertain me on the formalities here. I just want to read this sheet to you and you have to sign it. Okay, she says. And then you've already waived. We'll just do that again, these formalities. Casey says, that's fine. Eric says, because I like to do that, to be as thorough as I possibly can be. Casey says, I'm fine with that. Eric says, is that okay with you? Yup, Casey says. Eric says, Orange County Sheriff's Office waivers and affidavits form. You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say will be used in a court as evidence against you. You're entitled to talk to an attorney now or have him present now or at any time during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you without cost. Do you desire to consult with an attorney first or have one present during this interview, yes or no? She says, yes. Eric says, okay, go ahead and mark that. And at any time hereafter, we're done. Yep, she said. Yep. Yeah, affirmative. You can just cross a line and your signature right there on that line. Dorothy says, they don't need me anymore. Are we done? Eric says, yeah, we're done. And right here. And it's currently 4:22. Now that is no secret. I have recorded that. Casey says, yeah. Eric says, so no, so it would end up on any television show, but because I'm thorough. Casey says, sir, there's no question exactly. Eric said, there's no question about what happened? JB says, no question. She says, yeah. Eric says, so I can take my recorder out of the hot Florida sun now and turn it off. Casey says, yep. I expected you to record it anyway. And that was the end of that. There's not really much there, is there? That was not... I was just thinking, I don't know what, I just, that's not the one I thought it was going to be. Let's see. Okay, let me see here. Okay, let me do some other stuff. Sorry, I am so sorry. I don't know why. I just felt like it's not what it's hard for me to tell you what I thought. Let's see what else is going on. What is this? Who's this? Tracy Show Hatsona. Four-year-old. No. That's not. You know, there was. Okay, well, we're just gonna go back onto something else then. Let me see about. Donna Adelson. Harvey. I wonder how Charlie is in his new. Let's see if we have any news about Charlie in his new prison. Charlie Adel. So in his new prison. Let's see if there's anything that's surfacing about that. Any breaking news? Any breaking news? Let's see. Not really. See if we can find out anything that's happened to his house. Well Harbor, it's currently not for sale. Okay. Here it is. It says it has a Zestimate. It doesn't look that great, especially from the that's all they have on that. And I don't see that it's for sale yet. Okay. Yeah, who was that that gave me that one-eyed blind art gave me that case of that? There was so much stuff, and I can't remember the name of the person now. One-eyed blind art. Are you there with the name of that person? I said I'm going to look it up, and then I had to restart my computer, and I lost his name and everything. This is something. See what this says. Okay, here's something. Let's go over a little bit of this. Craig Isom was the lead investigator for Tallahassee Police Department. He interviewed Dan Markel's ex-wife, Wendy. He obtained the records of their divorce. The proceedings were contentious, and there was animosity between Dan Markel and Wendy Adelson's family. Markel filed a motion to limit the children's contact with Donna Adelson, Wendy's mother. The motion was never heard by the court because Markel was murdered while the motion was pending. Wendy had previously been prohibited by the court from moving to Broward County with the children. Donna Adelson told Wendy in emails that she should threaten or bribe Dan. Isom tried to interview Donna Adelson and her husband, but they didn't show up for the interview. On the day he was shot, Markel dropped his kids off at daycare. He then went to the Premier Fitness Center to exercise. A surveillance video shows a green Prius pulling into the parking lot behind Markel. An hour later, the Prius followed Markel out of the parking lot as he left around 10:38 a.m. The Prius was a 2006 to 2009 Toyota Silver Pine Mica in color. The 911 call about the shooting came in at 11:02. Isom obtained additional video from city buses along the route between the gym and Markel's residence. It shows the Prius still following Markel's car at 10:52 and 10:55. The Prius had a distinctive mirror and a SunPass toll-paying device. The passenger wore a white shirt. Isom requested information on toll activity for any Toyota Prius heading from Miami to Tallahassee on July 16th and returning on July 18th. Only one transponder met the criteria. He requested the subscriber information for that transponder. It was registered to a rental car agency in Miami. A 2008 Prius was rented to Luis Rivera by that agency on July 15, 2014. The rental information included phone numbers. One of the phone numbers matches a Facebook account to a person using a moniker Tuto and a profile photograph. Isom obtained a pawn shop ticket bearing the appellant's name and a phone number. He also obtained phone numbers and records for Wendy, Donna, Harvey, and Charlie Adelson, and co-defendant Catherine Magmanua. Ronald Witt is the law enforcement contact for T-Mobile. He submitted cell phone tower logs in Tallahassee. Wendy testified that she was previously married to Dan Markel. Her family lives in Broward County. She has 2 children from Markel. Divorce proceedings were initiated in 2012. She petitioned to move to South Florida with the children, but it was denied. The divorce became final in 2013. Markel filed a pleading to allege that Wendy's mother, Donna, was interfering with his relationship with the children. Wendy's parents were very angry with Dan. Her brother Charlie never mentioned hiring a hitman to kill her husband. He made a joke that buying her a TV set would be cheaper than hiring a hitman. She was not involved in any plot to kill Dan. She met Catherine Magbanua once and went to the beach with her when Magbanua was dating her brother Charlie. Thomas Balboni is an investigator for the state attorney's office. The appellant's known fingerprints match the print on the pawn ticket from Miami. Officer Bill Brannon responded to the shooting since on July 18, 2014, a female in a Honda Odyssey approached the scene, and she turned around and drove away. Jeffrey Lacasse had a relationship with Wendy Adelson in 2013 and 2014. He met her family, including her brother Charlie and Catherine Magbanua, but never met appellant. He met Wendy at a coffee shop on June 4th. There goes my birthday. Oh my goodness. 2014. She was nervous and upset that the court wouldn't let her take her children and relocate to South Florida. She was bitter and made statements about her brother considering options to take care of the problem. Wendy told him that Charlie was looking into having Dan Markel killed. She told him on the phone after the murder that she and Charlie had a celebration dinner. Stephen Lutz is a security specialist for Chase Bank. He authenticated an ATM video surveillance footage from a branch in Pembroke Pines, Florida in July of 2014. Sergeant Christopher Corbett has training in cell phone analysis. The state qualified him as an expert. He investigated the phones of several people in this case, including the appellant, Catherine Magbanua, and several members of the Adelson family. Wendy Adelson's phone traveled to Trescott Drive on July 18th and approached the police roadblock until it was unable to go anymore. It also attempted to call Markel at 11:42, but there was no answer and the call went to voicemail. Cell tower dumps were used to determine whether cell phones were located where they were located at various times. Markel went to Premier Health and Fitness Gym and then back to his residence prior to being shot. A phone number ending in 5986 was found in the tower dumps that was also in Harvey's cell phone records. This was the appellant's number. Corbett compared known cell phone records to the tower dumps to see if any of the phones were in Tallahassee area during the relevant time period. Luis Rivera's phone was in a tower dump. Rivera and the appellant both had phones appear on the tower dump for near 110 and Thomasville Road. Appellant's phone location was consistent with the tower servicing Premier Gym. Rivera's phone was in that area as well. The tower data only provides general area, not a precise location. Luis Rivera testified that he entered a plea to second-degree murder in this case and was sentenced to 19 years in prison, concurrent with a federal prison sentence of 12 and 1/2 years in exchange for becoming a cooperating witness. He also had pending charges for which he has not been sentenced. Rivera grew up with appellant. Appellant's nickname is Tuto. Co-defendant Catherine Magbanua is the appellant's wife, or at least they thought they were married. At least he thought they were married. Their relationship was on and off. Rivera's height is 5'4", appellant is 6'1". Appellant approached him in 2014 about going to Tallahassee. Appellant said he had a job and would pay Rivera to go with him, but Rivera didn't ask what the job was. He made 2 trips to Tallahassee with the appellant. He thought they were going to do a robbery, but appellant said they wouldn't have to kill a man for some kids. It was a lady who wanted her kids back. The appellant had a piece of paper with a picture of Dan Markel, and appellant was driving on the first trip. Rivera brought the car. The first trip was around June 4th, 5th, 2014. Rivera admitted that he got a traffic ticket for speeding along the way. Not too good there. Rivera was going to be the shooter, but didn't want to do it in front of the kids. They lost contact with Markel as they were following him. They abandoned the plan and they returned to Miami. They returned to Tallahassee on the 16th to try again, July 16th. Rivera rented a green Prius. They saw a woman with kids walking to Markel's house as they pulled up, and she looked their way. They drove off. An appellant called Katie, and Katie told the appellant that they had to finish the job before Markel left town. Rivera posted a picture of an owl on Instagram while they were waiting and then took it down. Rivera said that the appellant pulled out a gun and accidentally shot a hole in the car that they had to get fixed. He and the appellant went back and followed Markel as he drove to the daycare center and then to the gym. Rivera was driving. They followed Markel back to his house afterwards. The bus video shows the two of them driving before and after the murder, and they both pulled in behind Markel, who was on the phone. The appellant got out, walked up to the driver's side of Markel's car, and shot him twice. Appellant got back in the car, and they left. Rivera was still driving. They dumped the gun in the lake. They stopped at the ATM and got their cash on their way back to Miami. Katie was responsible for getting their money. Wendy was the one paying. Rivera, appellant, and Katie each got a cut of the money. Rivera and appellant bought cars and motorcycles with their money. The Adelson family hired appellant to murder Mr. Markel, and appellant paid him to help. Officer Jonathan Grossman testified that he located the Prius in 2015 by its VIN and searched it. He found a bullet hole in the passenger floorboard. Heath Leland worked at the Creative Preschool. He saw Mr. Markel on the day he was killed. He noticed a Prius parked outside the daycare in the parking lot. Shadrach Nobles testified that the appellant tried to buy cocaine from him in Tallahassee in June or July of 2014. He saw the appellant and Rivera 2 times within the month apart, and they had car trouble both times. The second time, he took them to the auto parts store to buy a hose. He helped them get a room for the for the night. The vehicle was a gray station wagon. Justin Willits provided toll booth information to law enforcement about a SunPass transponder assigned to a Prius that went through the toll booths on Alligator Alley on July 16th at certain times. Only one customer account matched the search criteria. Waldo Nunez was a sales representative at the rental car agency in Miami. He rented out a Nissan Altima on June 2nd, 2014. He rented out a Hyundai Sonata on June 3rd. The contracts were introduced into evidence. Darren Schwartz owns a rental car company in Miami. All of the vehicles had SunPass transponders installed. 2 green Priuses in July of 2014. He rented one of them to Luis Rivera. Elizabeth Ritchie is a firearms analyst with FDLE. She analyzed 2 fired bullets. There was a .38 caliber, and they were both fired from the same weapon. June Umchinda dated Charlie Adelson from 2015 to 2017. He spoke of the murder of Dan Markel, but never admitted any involvement in it. Yindra Mascaro lives in Miami, and she testified about her knowledge relationships with Catherine Magbanua, appellant, and Luis Rivera. Clarisa Lebredo is Harvey Adelson's assistant at a dental office in Tamarack, Florida. Charlie Adelson also worked there. Catherine Magbanua was a patient one time. Erica Johnson also works at the dental office as a dental assistant. Donna Adelson worked there too. She called Charlie when the FBI came looking for employment records for Katie. Charlie told her not to provide any records because it's her father's office. It's his father's office. Christopher Corbett was recalled to say that Luis Rivera's phone revealed a preliminary trip to Tallahassee in June of 2014. He returned to Miami on June 5th. A silver Nissan Altima was rented for the trip. Magbanua's phone had contact with the cell tower consistent with the rental agency, and they also communicated with Charlie Adelson around the same time. A second car was rented June 3rd. On a Hyundai Sonata, Rivera was issued a traffic citation in Gainesville on June 4th. The photos of the appellant and Magbanua were in contact on June 6th. Appellant's phone called Harvey Adelson on June 1st. Rivera and appellant both had phone records showing another trip from Miami to Tallahassee, June 16th and June 18th. Another car was rented for the July trip. Appellant's phone number was listed on Rivera's rental contract, GPS location information, plus the rented Prius in Magbanua's driveway on the evening of July 15th. Rivera's phone and the appellant's phone left Miami just after noon, July 16th. The Sun Pass transponder also paid a toll along the way. Rivera's phone communicated with his cell tower near the Budget Inn, and there was a registration for a hotel room at that location. Both phones were active near Trescott Drive on the evening of July 17th. There were communications between the phones for the appellant and Magbanua that evening as well. Surveillance video put the Prius at Premier Health and Fitness at 9:16. Consistent with that, Rivera made an ATM withdrawal at Pembroke Pines on July 18th and on the way back to Miami. Mary Hull is a financial investigator with the Florida Attorney General's office. She reviewed the bank records of the appellant, Rivera, Magbanua, and the Adelsons to look for the connection or money trails. Between July 26 and October 17, 2014, the appellant purchased 2 cars and a motorcycle. Rivera purchased 1 car and 1 motorcycle during that same time period. Magbanua acquired a Lexus from Harvey Adelson for $1,700. Most of Hull's remaining testimony concerned co-defendant Magbanua's financial activities and employment by the Adelsons. Oscar Jimenez was an FBI agent who did an undercover operation on April 19, 2016. He pretended to be a member of the Latin Kings and approached Donna Adelson. He handed her a flyer about the Markel murder with a handwritten note, including a phone number and the amount of $5,000. A recording of their conversation was introduced and published. This was the bump operation that was done in connection with a wiretap. He later called Donna Adelson to follow up in hopes that it would create phone chatter between the parties to be picked up by the wiretap. He later received a call from Charles Adelson on a number that he'd provided to Donna Adelson. Christopher Corbett, he recalled to say that he had participated in getting the wiretap. He tapped the phones for Charlie Adelson and Catherine Magbanua. Sherry Bennett was the custodian of the wiretap information. Special Agent Patrick Sanford of the FBI testified about his role in assisting the Tallahassee Police Department. He has assisted with the wiretap and interviewed several witnesses. Rivera flipped and became a cooperating witness. He's a violent gang leader with a criminal history. Special Agent Louis Brunstein of the FBI participated in a surveillance operation at Dolce Vita restaurant in April of 2016. The objective was to surveil a meeting between Charlie Adelson and Katie Magbanua. A recording was introduced and played, but most of it was unintelligible. Due to poor audio quality. Craig Isom was recalled to say the crime scene tape around the shooting scene on Trescott Avenue and the circumstances of Catherine's, hold on a minute, Magbanua's arrest. Mary Hull was recalled to authenticate Magbanua's tax returns. The state then rested its case. Appellant moved for a judgment of acquittal, which she was denied. The court also denied co-defendant Magbanua's motion for judgment of acquittal. Let's see here. How many more is this? So probably got a lot more. Oh yeah, we'll never finish this tonight because I am falling asleep, but I can't find your... Where the heck is my... There we go, here's the live chat. Okay, so, hey Carolyn Jepson. Carolyn Jepson, how are you? Don't freak out about that live stream. There were just some things that needed to be addressed. There's nothing to freak out about. People were just telling their truth. You know, that's all. People can tell their truth. They don't have to just sit back and be lied about all the time. It's totally fine. And I'm glad to see you back on YouTube. You shouldn't have anybody running you off, you know? That's not good. Oh, as a reminder, on Wednesday, there's going to be that book club with Rosemary on Wednesday. I'm not sure of the time, and as soon as I find it, I've got to get that going. Oh, my goodness. Just hang on a minute. I got to get something. I've got to get something. Oh, gosh. Oh, and Carol, I got your payment. Your plaque will go out tomorrow. And Farm Life, I sent you a request, and I'll get that out tomorrow. And Little Lady. I'm going to do my best to get your stuff packed up and send your request. I lost some time because of my rib, but now I'm feeling better, so. And the reason I'm coughing right now is because I was eating freeze-dried strawberries. And they have that, like the strawberry, it's crushed up and there's like, it makes like a powder even though it's just strawberries and nothing else. I made it cough. Okay. All right, let's see what else we got now. So we like all the supportive comments that were there. They were very nice. People understood. People have seen what's been going on. They've seen the unending harassment, right? And how it's spilled out onto the community. So it was nice that people could tell their truth. And there's a lot of support in the comments. You sent the payment? Okay, great, Farm Life. I'll get that. I have your label all printed out. I just have to sign the back of it, take a picture, and then I'll send it out to you tomorrow. So I'll get those out tomorrow. And Isabel, I finished yours. So I'll just have to get... Jimmy does the Canada shipment, so I will find that out, get that out to you. Let's see who else. Big Mamu, I hope you're okay. Big Mamu, we miss you. Who else? Ruff, I'm going to start getting those dishes packed up for your daughter. You're going to start packing your stuff up. Emily Casto, your stuff should have already been shipped out to you. You should have it. White Angel, I'm going to start packing up some of your stuff. Hey, there you are, Isabel, under Daniel. Yeah, White Angel, I'm going to start packing up some of your stuff and see what we've got for shipping on that. Lasso Lacey, I sent you a request for something you bought for Ruff. And then tomorrow I'm going to go through, I think, I don't know why I think the dolphin bracelet, and you have 2 pairs of earrings, but I thought there might be something else I want to make sure. A little lady. I didn't forget you, little lady. I have your planter, your necklace, and I believe you got the hummingbird as well. A hummingbird figurine, and I'm going to get that. Adventures with Beth. Wow. You're taking... You still am what? I've been trying to reach you. A lot of us have been trying to reach you. Have you been getting my emails? Hi, One Eye Blind Art. I've heard several things that Beth, that you were in the ICU, then you were downgraded, you were in a room. I've seen that in your writing. I've heard it from White Angel. I don't know what's going on. And then a bunch of us tried to contact you and contact you and contact you, and you were not responding to any of us. It's good to see you, but I don't know what's going on. Which email? I'm using the email that we've been emailing on, and plus I sent you messages in Slack, plus I know other people were texting you, other people were sending you emails. There were multiple people texting, sending Slack messages. You've been hearing that too, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Well, were you in the hospital? Thoughts and prayers your way. Prayers, One Eye Blind Arts. Prayers. Prayers for peace and comfort and no pain and no fear. Praying for that. I don't know what's going on. I've been hearing a lot of different stuff, Beth. I've been hearing, and I don't know. I'm a little lost. I'm a little lost. Okay, because I do have a screenshot of you saying that you were in the ICU and now you're in a regular room. Because people were concerned. And people were wondering why, you didn't come here and say that. Why you chose to say that somewhere else. I'm not going to pretend. I'm a little perplexed, okay? Who's blocked you? Nobody's blocked you here. We don't know what's going on. It seems like you, I don't know, didn't want to have anything to do with us. I know people were very hurt, people that had reached out to you and got no answer. But, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I sent you an email. You should have it. If someone's been planting a bug in your ear, then I'd say that you should really go and talk to us, because what happens is what these people do, and what we have confirmation that's been done in the past, and there was somebody here last night that was explaining how it was done in the past. They take somebody that you think you trust or whatever, and that person tells one person that, oh, this has been going on, and oh, this is what's going on, this is what they're saying, you don't know this, and they taint people. And that's exactly what happens. Exactly. And certain people were here last night that explained that right in the chat, that certain people said these things, about 2 years ago or whatever, and the reason they believed them is because the person that was sent to do that, to bring those lies, was somebody they didn't think would lie like that. So they didn't question it. But you should question everything, and which is what I need to do more of, question everything, because when something doesn't feel right, you're entitled to answers, and I'm entitled to answers, and I don't know, something's not feeling right for me. So I don't know what's going here. Not here on Facebook and a couple of channels. But why didn't you come here? I just don't understand, Beth. I sent it to that email. You can't get into that until February 17th. Why? You're locked out of Google? Because of two-step verification? What? You shouldn't be locked out for that reason. I don't know if it's... That's strange, but I sent it to a bunch of different places, Beth. And I know other people contacted you as well. And I know people were contacting you in a chat, and they were being ignored as well. So I don't know. I don't know why. I really don't know what's going on. People here have only tried to help you, and you know that, have even purchased things for you in order for you to sell, in order for you to be able to sell, have given you different things, and I don't know. I don't know what is going on. I really don't. You don't have the same phone? Okay. Because I was told you were going to sell somewhere else. Whatever. You go wherever the heck you want. But I think that, you could at least tell us what's going on. I've only been... Yeah. That's a couple of days ago. Exactly. People came in there. They told you that I had been calling out and asking for you. We had been asking where you were. I have the post of you saying you were in the ICU and you were downgraded to a regular room. I don't know. I'm confused. But if you want to come up and talk, you're welcome to. I'm going to open up a new Zoom anyway, because I have to open up a new Zoom. But I'm a little perplexed. I don't know what's going on. I know you're trying to tell me, but I'm having a little problem with it. I don't understand. Because it's been a lot of different ways we tried to contact you. And I've been not able to reach you, but apparently a lot of other people on another site were. So, I don't know. But that's fine. Cuckoo. The cuckoo clock, we love the meeting. Okay, I have to open up a new meeting. So hang on. I'm going to open the new Zoom. Don't I have to open the new Zoom? I think I do, right? And other meeting. Okay. Invite. All right, let's see. Hair is like, I don't know, I've got to color my hair tomorrow. It's driving me insane, and I washed it and it dried real funny, and it's crazy now. Can't take it anymore. And I've got to get it cut. It's like crazy. Thank you, One Eye Blind Art. It's very colorful, isn't it? Okay, let me figure out where Slack is here, and so I can put this number in. And yeah, I mean, your green light was on in Slack today, and I had a message up there for ages from you, and it showed you were active. And yeah, I removed you because you didn't answer me in days and days and days and days, and I don't know what to do. I really don't. I don't know what to do. But, you know, I'm very protective now. I really am. I'm protective of our community. I'm protective of myself. And if I don't get, you know, if I'm not able to converse with you, and then especially when it's showing that you're active in there and I feel like I'm just, you know, we're all being ignored, I'm sorry. It's the way it is, the way it goes. I'll send you the number if you feel like calling in and explaining what's going on. But I don't know. I don't know what is happening. Hello, Elle.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. Where the heck? I'm looking for my email. Where's my email? Who else was in Slack?
Sharon,
I mean in
Kevin,
Zoom. Sharon's
Murdaugh.
coming. They coming in?
Yes. I would hope so.
Me too. Hold on a minute. Let me see here. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why my mail is all closed down. Okay. Okay. So. Okay, so Beth, you're saying now that you're not getting mail at that other place. So, what is the email that we're supposed to email you at? I'm a little lost. And you shouldn't be locked out like that with two-step verification. And I will check on that. Hi, cats.
Oh, hey Carmen, how you
Hi.
doing?
Good. We're live, just so you know.
Okay, I didn't know.
Okay.
I just thought it was anything coming.
Oh, that's
So
okay.
I can come back later.
Oh, you don't have to. I mean, let me see.
What are you talking about?
Oh, just nothing. Just not much. I mean, we just came on after the live, but then we saw Beth in there, and just God, we've been worried about Beth. We haven't been able to get a hold of her, and I don't
Is she
know.
okay?
Well, I don't know. We heard she was in the hospital and that she was in the ICU.
Oh no.
And I don't know. And now I've heard like a bunch of like just things. Now I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Just trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Let's see here. Hi,
Yeah.
Sharon. Did I make you? Did I make you a host?
Oh.
I didn't do that yet.
Mm-mm.
Okay, let me see. There we go.
Well, thank you. No.
Your other email? What other email?
What email?
I don't know what other email, but I know that other people have contacted you. And I've contacted you through various different ways. Contacted you through Slack. I know people have contacted you through other emails. There's a lot of people that have been trying to get a hold of you. Hi, Flo on the go. Just wondering what's going on. So, I don't know. I don't know how to get a hold of you if you're not. No, I don't have another. If you have another email, why don't you email me with that? Because I have that one that you mentioned. So go on with that, and then we'll see if maybe we can talk after this or something, because I think a lot of us would like some clarification of what the heck's going on. Okay, I'm going to bring the word cookies over because Kevin said it's word cookies time.
Somebody say cookies?
Oh, word cookies. I hate
Okay.
that. I hate that it's the 30th.
Oh, I'm still not over from when I was sick.
Oh, really?
Boxing Day. Yeah, I've only been out 3 times since Boxing Day. I went to the chemist and a couple times to the shops. Oh my god, it nearly killed me.
Wow.
I just got in the car, drove there, got my stuff, drove back, and I was like a 80-year-old smoking 2 packs a day or something. Like, I was just like wheezing and out of breath, and I was just exhausted, and it took me a couple of days to get over it, and I'm just like, this is crazy.
I'm not enjoying my
yeah.
snow flow. Okay. No flow. I'm not enjoying it. Thank you, Bill. Oh, Dine. Okay. On Dune. Uh-oh. Get out of here. There we go. Dune. Oh, Feud. Oh, did we do Feud? Why didn't it work? No? Because I'm spelling it wrong. I'm not even looking at what the frick I'm doing. Wendy? No. Nude.
Oh, you're playing your game.
We're almost done.
Okay, gotcha. Did you hear about that, the Alabama inmate? Like the one that was the first?
Yeah, for that nitrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Why don't they just, I've seen so many things with, like one in particular that stands out, this cop, and he opened up a boot and someone had fentanyl in it, and he passed out and just from taking like a whiff, like he didn't even go near it. It was just like the smell that came off it. Like, why don't they use that instead of?
I don't know.
Because it seems.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know because that same guy, they tried to put him to death with a lethal injection in 2022, and it didn't work out. And,
So the family and that all had to go through that twice, not just him.
right, yeah, I know.
Oh man.
I know. It's,
The only upside you can see to that is that he got 2 last dinners. Oh gosh. Is there some kind of rule that if they don't kill you the first time, you kind of?
no,
Okay.
they didn't kill him
You get
the
it.
first time, and they still put him to death.
I kind of think like even if they messed it up, that you kind of get like a pass.
Right.
Mm.
I have your email, but Debbie Downer at Mommy Ramblings blog. I have your email, but they have me blocked. Sorry. Debbie Downer, who has you blocked? My email does not have you blocked. Debbie Downer. Nobody has you blocked. I see your comment here. Can you explain, please, who has you blocked? You're not blocked. Offend, probably. Right. Yeah, I don't see you blocked at all. Who do you think has you blocked? Tell us, please. You asked me to, hold on, I can't see that. Heart is right in the middle of your word. You asked me to troll? What? Debbie Downer, I asked you to troll. What are you talking about? No, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I guarantee you if I do a search for your name in my comments, I will find horrible comments you've written about me. So, OMG, I think you are the troll. Oh, okay. I never asked anybody to troll. Sorry, I don't do that. That's not me. That ain't me, kid. That's Bob Dylan. That ain't me. I don't waste my time like that. If I want to say something, I'll say it. I don't need someone to go somewhere and try to do it for me.
Is she saying you asked her to troll?
That seems like what she's saying. Like, Cats, when do you know me to do that?
Well, obviously she doesn't know you very well.
I know.
That's the last thing that you'd ever ask anyone to do.
Ridiculous.
Oh. Too much shenanigans. Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
Show a little love. Love the love.
Oh, I did. Okay. Show me the proof of that, okay? Get your receipts there, Debbie Downer. Get your receipts where I did that, okay?
It's so funny, Debbie Downer. I was just watching the other night, was like a really old SNL like comedy kind of clip, and it had the Debbie Downer in there.
Oh, yeah, on Saturday Night Live, Debbie Downer, right. But I've had this Debbie Downer that comes in the comments. And I have this extension now that I can pull any comments I want up. So,
Look at
Debbie
that one,
Downer.
friend.
Oh my gosh.
Instead of finding the silver lining.
Send your proof, Debbie. Go ahead. You're not triggering me if you think you are. I am not, I know exactly what I do and what I don't do, and I don't ask people to troll. Let's see. You and I. Oh, we're at Union. No? Yeah,
Is that a clock in the background?
mm-hmm. It's the cuckoo clock. We got it out of the pawn shop. We had to pawn it, for.
Is it a new one or the same one you
It
had
was the
before?
same one. We got it out before it was. Before somebody else bought it,
Yeah.
It's good.
I've got it, I bought this little cute little round speaker. It's just like tiny, like a tennis ball size. But it's just the wireless one of Temu. And I don't know how, but every day at 1 p.m., like the alarm goes off and I don't know how to turn it off. But it's kind of good now. I've left it on because I kind of, if I'm not sure what time it is, I'm sort of like, oh my gosh, it's 1 already. Like, yeah.
Yes, Nikki, I can see you.
So it could be like an hour every hour.
Hi, Puddin'.
And anyone recommends what phone I should get? I need to get a new phone. Like I haven't updated for like eons. I've got like a really old iPhone.
Well, I mean,
but-
I have to stick with an iPhone, so
Yeah, because I was thinking like once you've been with an iPhone, it's kind of hard
yeah,
to
it's
like
hard.
everything's attached to it.
Yeah,
I was thinking that iPhone 13.
that's what I have. Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Because I think it's after, when my ex, like when he got his iPhone 14, it's on the 5G network. And when he got it, he said he was feeling really funny. He was getting weird headaches and just like, he just felt off and he was wondering if it had to do with that. And that kind of put me off, like, I was like, I don't like the sound of that. Does the 13 have that?
No, I didn't get that. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that must be the one before it. But it's got the good chip in there.
I am
like
not
the,
going. No, okay. Just hang on for a minute, Cats. Beth, are you looking for something? What email did you put in? I'm not ignoring anything. I just saw that you emailed me. It looks like you want to make me demonize me or look for a reason to be angry with me. That's how I'm feeling. I'm going right now to my email, Beth, and I do not have an email from you. Okay? I do not have an email from you. My last emails are at 1:44, not from you. 1:49, not from you. 1:50, not from you. 2 a.m., not from you. 2:13, not from you. So I can't ignore what isn't there. I don't know, Beth. Why wouldn't you answer any of my emails for weeks? Why didn't you come here and tell us you were in the hospital, but you went into another chat room? Why haven't you been here in any of our sales, but you're going to go elsewhere and sell? I don't know. Why haven't you answered anyone else's messages to you? We've been concerned, calling out to you. I don't know. Tell me. You just said you emailed me and I'm ignoring your email, and I went to my inbox and there's no email. Things aren't making a lot of sense to me, Beth. Beth, I need you to email me. With that email, I need you to send me an email. You know my email.
Oh, my son graduates from uni in April,
Oh,
and
congratulations.
we all planned a family trip to go stay at like an Airbnb, like
Oh,
all the
wow.
family, like my sisters and
Oh,
their
fun.
kids and
That's fun.
my parents and
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
yeah. So he finished last year, but he was waiting on some of his exam results.
Mhm.
So so 4 years of engineering done, and he signed in January his work contract, and now it's a big boy. So he's doing really. And the other one got the job that he was after at Parliament House, so he starts in February.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Let me see. Did you email me? Let's see. Okay. All right, I got it now, and I will send that. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, which one is this? What is this? I already sent back to you. What is this, Kevin? Uric? Yeah, but I need more than that, Kevin. Curio, that's probably it. Can somebody open the door? Sharon, are you there?
I let her in. I think she's hooking up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Sure.
Is Sharon?
Yeah, it says joining, so.
Okay,
Might get, there she is.
okay. Hello?
Hi, Beth. She's not have her video going on.
Oh.
Maybe.
Hi, Beth.
Hello?
So,
Does sound very interesting. On the notice board in our neighbourhood app thing, we've got someone put on there, like a scam that's going around, and there's like 2 email addresses,
Mm-hmm.
and one's the right one and one's the wrong one. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, they're exactly the same. And then he said, like at the bottom of the thing, he goes, the difference was the letter A that was in Gmail. One was like a normal, like lowercase a, and the other one was a like an Arabic kind of one. Like
Right.
it just one like little letter, and it made it a scam email.
Yeah, well, Carol sent me a scam today that she was getting Venmo requests for money. And she's like, do you know these people? Because I only buy at your auctions and I don't know any of these people. And they were for the same amount. It was like almost $100, just under $100, the exact same amount. And I said, no, stay away, don't do it. She says, yeah, it looked like a scam. And then Elle got scammed today. Somebody texted her and said that they bought an appliance on her account, but didn't say what account. And before she knew it, she called them up and was transferring all kinds of money. And
One bank account's wiped out.
yeah. So don't ever open anything, all of you people out there, no matter what somebody says you bought, immediately check your bank account, check your Amazon or whatever, wherever they say it is. Don't ever pay anything from somebody on the phone or anything like that.
gosh, I wish
That's
I could
a
get
sort of
that
being
through
hit non-stop at
Glenn's.
the moment with them.
Never ever.
What's that, Beth?
I wish I could get that through Glenn's head.
Mm-hmm.
I've had all sorts of ones like debts that I owe, and one was for like a road tolls. Where I live, we don't have them, so it's like, well, no, that's
Yeah.
that's not real. And I've had a phone company calling me like non-stop all the time, and the quickest way to get rid of them is I say, because they ring to ask me about my Telstra account, and I'm like, I'm not with Telstra, and they hang up so fast.
All right. Yeah.
And I'm like,
You can't. You just
but
gotta.
they always sound so legitimate. Like, and I did talk to one like when they first started calling, and it was a guy, and he was so angry, and he was so pushy, and he was getting like he wanted my details and stuff to confirm my details, and I'm like, well, you're the person that rang me, like obviously you've got them. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you. I shouldn't need to confirm it. You're the one that's called my number. And he just got so, like, it was really intimidating. Yeah, it's like, I'd hate to be, like, I can see why a lot of old, vulnerable people do kind of, because you get really intimidated the way they talk to you, and you feel like you've done something wrong.
Yeah, I had someone call me saying I owed them money. They were a debt collector.
Yeah.
And he had me in tears and panicking.
Oh, that's awful. A good thing to do too is to grab, just say like, if I get your number and I'll just give you, I'll call you back at, like someone's just turned up for a visit or something. Like I'll give you a call back as soon as they leave. And they usually won't give you a contact number or anything. It's like, that's how you can tell straight away too.
What do you mean, Nikki? She says, in my city, the police found 25 credit card skimmer devices in various gas stations and convenience stores. So if you swipe your card, the skimmer device illegally captures your credit card. So
Yeah.
they're putting it somewhere on the actual legitimate skimmer.
Yeah,
So is it better to
lot-
tap your card? Probably.
Yeah, a lot of them are being put on gas pumps.
Because you don't notice them, but they're
Right, good. It's inserted into where you put your credit card. That's why you don't see it.
so the tap and go is probably better.
You're better off going in.
No, I didn't get it hacked. I gave it away.
You what?
I gave it away. It was just really stupid.
Al, I made that mistake once too. It happens. I mean, that guy that had me in tears. I finally gave him my info. Because
I got a message yesterday.
he threatened to send the police, and I panicked.
We threatened to send the police. Oh my gosh. But you just think about that. It's like, how is sending the police going to, like, what can they do? They say it's a civil matter.
He already had me so upset. I wasn't thinking like that,
Yeah.
and I was here alone, and I panicked. I just simply panicked. I
So just remember, when you're on the telephone, you're in control. And if you're not if you're in that situation again, just get their contact details and say, now's not a good time, and have someone with you or someone call on your behalf, and they can deal with it. And because you should never feel like that, ever. And that's kind of when you know they are kind of scams, because
Right.
there's usually good customer service, like most places are very nice.
Yeah, this was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
And then
It's awful.
when we figured out it was a scam, I called my bank, 'cause I did have a bank then, I don't now, but I did then. And
Yeah.
they told me they took care of it, but they didn't.
You've really got to like chase things up a lot these days. So many people are, I think sometimes they just tell you what it is. They know you want to hear, just so that you leave them alone.
I didn't even have my card. Glenn was out shopping with my card. And when I told the guy I don't even have my card, give you the info, he outright called me a liar.
That's when you turn around and say, excuse me, like, how dare you call me a liar? Goodbye, sir.
Yeah,
Nice to hear.
he already had me in tears. I mean, he knew what he was doing. He found my weak spot, and he
But they
didn't
do
just,
it all day long. They do it all day long.
yeah,
And they get very, very good at it.
he didn't just press that weak spot, he punched it.
I'm sorry that happened.
Well,
Hopefully you're a stronger, tougher, more vigilant person now from it.
well, that was quite a while. That was years ago, so.
Yeah. The amount of, I think I heard not that long ago, because news thing, and the billions of dollars that, like, how many countries, like, the amount of money that they get scammed out of every, like, year. And it's just rising and rising, and it's crazy.
And it's gotten really bad the past few years because so many people are shopping online because they're afraid to go out.
Well, they're also getting very creative in the way they're doing scams.
Oh, yeah.
It's their, like, they do it all day in, all day out, like, and they just make so much from it. And it's devastating. You hear people losing like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'd love to be in a position that I could lose hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, right. Me too. I don't even have $1 to lose right now, so they can try all they want right now.
But apparently through COVID, they really targeted like the loneliness of people.
Yeah.
And you know, what do they call it? The fish bait? No.
Catfish.
Catfish, that's it. Yeah, the catfishes. Yeah, they really cashed in. And this person was explaining, like, they said that with the catfishes, they take like months and months and months, like, to worm their way in. It's like a really slow burn, but they're the ones that end up with like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like, from one person.
Yeah. Hi, Mary.
Yeah. It's just like, well.
Terrible.
Hi, Mary Warren. Okay, One Eye Blind Art, get some good rest. Prayers for your family and for you.
Yeah, Nikki, Mick, that's right. You will, but unless you know unless you know what you're looking for, you won't see it. And you have to really look because it's right inside.
And I think we're so naturally trusting too, like.
Yeah, especially like with the gas station. If it's one you go to all the time.
Yeah, it's like, you wouldn't think there's anything nefarious about just getting some money out, like.
Right.
And you think that, how could someone put a skimmer in there, because there's like 24-hour camera surveillance and stuff, like, you think it'd be fairly safe.
Well, obviously they're not actually watching.
Maybe it's really easy just to put the skimmer in.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Maybe it's easy to turn your back to the camera and insert it too. I don't know.
You're not sure how that works.
No, and I don't want to know how it works.
I remember there was a case a while ago that a girl took her mother's, like, she worked at like a drive-through, and the person went to pay with their credit card, and she took the details of it, and then, like, used the credit card, paid for the drive-through food, and then that person went home. And then later on she realised that there was all these sort of purchases being made on her credit card.
Yeah.
And it was that girl that served her. I was like, I could never do that to someone.
Yeah.
And it was things like makeup and clothes and like bags and shoes, and I think if it was something kind of like I don't know, sort of like a need, not a want, I could have more sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another thing too is at 4:04 every morning, it looks like my computer is taking a picture. So I finally, I Googled it last night. And it's like, wow. So now I have something over the camera, so pictures can't be taken.
Good work, Jenny.
And it's a Microsoft thing.
Wow, okay. It's the same with the smart TVs and that as well.
Yeah.
I used to put a bit of blue tack, the stuff that you stick stuff in the wall with. It's just
Oh,
put that
yeah,
over the
yeah.
whole
Oh, yeah.
camera.
But it must make it all sticky when you want to use it though, right?
No, because it's designed for putting up posters on the wall and
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Nikki meant that I hate it too, but you gotta protect yourself, so. I wish we didn't have to do that.
It used to be like give people the benefit of the doubt, but now it's kind of everything's turned around and it's like kind of like people have to prove themselves first before you can trust them.
For sure.
Yeah, and that really sucks when you're kind of the person who will give everybody a chance. I know.
Yeah, me too.
I still do, but that's just me. It's like until someone gives me a reason. But in saying that, I'm a lot more vigilant and aware of certain character traits and what to look for in people.
Because
Which
every
I
time
never
you get
used to
screwed
do
over,
before.
you just makes you that much more aware.
Yeah.
My mind just doesn't go there. That someone would scam me like that.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
that's because your mind doesn't work like that and you're so sweet.
Yeah, I don't think of that first off either.
No.
It's like, I don't understand how these people can do what they're doing that's on the true crime. And I hope I never do.
Right.
Because if I can think like them, I'm in trouble.
Right.
Do you think it's like a domino effect? Like someone gets hard done by and then they sort of turn then they don't have a problem doing something to someone else because it happened to them. And
I
it
don't
kind
know.
of
I think there's got to be, you've got to be like really, depending on what's going on, you got to be a real crap person, right? I mean,
well, even like everyone stealing stuff and nothing happens to them, and it's kind of like that's unfair. Like, why are you stealing stuff and nothing? There's no consequences to their actions and stuff, and it's like, but I have to pay for my stuff, and then they say like, what the hell? I'm just going to take something as well, and it just has this knock-on effect.
I'm the kind of person who would accidentally walk out with paying something and get caught. So.
You have to be aware. You have to not be a pushover.
Yeah, that's me. I'm working on that.
I mean, I have had stuff fall into my purse, little things.
Sure.
That were in the wagon. And then I get out to the vehicle and it falls out of my purse. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't pay for that. And I will run back in and pay for it.
Wow.
That actually happened to me once when I had the twins and I went shopping and I had this twin pram that was side by side, it would take up the aisle, and I put all the shopping on top of the hood of it. And at the time they were onto the soft food, the little tin foods and stuff. And I put milk down the bottom of the pram because it was too heavy for on the hood.
Right.
And by the time I got to the counter and put everything up, there was a million little cans of food and stuff, and lots of mashed apple stuff, because my dad used to, you could not trust him feeding the boys. It's one for granddad, one for the boys, another for granddad, and he loved that stuff. But yeah, I got there and I was just exhausted and tired and finally got through all of that, and I didn't even think about the milk that I put underneath. And then when I got to the car and yeah, put the boys in, strap them in, and then I was doing like everything out, and then I went to put the pram down, and then realized the milk was still there, and I just like, oh no, and
Yeah.
so
It's
I went
really
back
easy
to-
to do when you got little ones because you're distracted.
yeah, but I went back the following day and to let them know and to pay for it, and the person looked at me and goes, "Sweetie, like really, like don't worry." Like, and I'm like, but I didn't pay for it. And she's like, it's okay. Like, just, don't worry about it. But
Oh,
that's
yeah,
still
they
it's a
always
way.
made me pay. Jeez.
Yeah, I still kind of like feel bad about it.
Yeah, I would too.
I mean, I guess technically that wasn't stealing because that was accidental. Like, that was just, I didn't purposely leave it there.
But the thing is, you know in your own heart that you didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you.
Oh, I've just got too much of a conscience. That's my problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I would love to do like some like needs to be such a bad girl sometimes, and but it's just like, yeah, my conscience couldn't let me get away with all the things that I'd like to do. I think that's why you have your dreams. Like in dreams, you're like, you're the tough guy. It's like,
Taco, oh yeah, me. You know,
didn't let that person walk all over me.
we'll be on
In my
tomorrow
dreams,
with
I
trials
know.
in the morning, so I love you guys. God bless. Prayers. Thank you, John, Dallin, Dalton, for just subscribing, and we'll see you guys later. Everybody have a good night. Good night. Love you.
Sweet dreams.
Bye.